It's 5:31, so I'll call the meeting to order. Jessica, if you'll record the attendance. Article 2 is approval of the agenda. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, if you would do so, I'll take a motion to approve
move.
the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion or article, agenda approved. Article 3, approval of the August 20th meeting minutes.
Make
If
a
you haven't
motion
had-
to approve.
Yeah,
Second that.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Agenda is approved. The meeting minutes from August 20th are approved. Article 4, acknowledge visitors wishing to speak regarding no?
Is there anyone virtually though? I bet not.
No, that's what I look at her and
Oh,
she
yeah.
knows I'm looking for. Article 5, approve site improvement grant application. Danielle's here.
Yeah. Nothing earth shattering to present here that we haven't already talked about. So this is just a follow-up from our discussion last month regarding the site improvement grant application program and checklist or corresponding checklist. As per our conversation last month, the changes to this checklist and grant guidelines application include, first of all, noting that the DDA will be interested in only funding projects on non-residential properties. So that's been clarified at the top of the application in the blue header at the top there. Another note was that I placed more point value to projects on the evaluation criteria checklist. I placed a higher point value on projects that have frontage on the Thornapple River from 5 to 7 points. Can be higher if you guys want that as well, but from what I recall, those were kind of the two major changes that we had pretty quick. Any questions?
It's good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good.
Good,
good.
good.
We need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Nice job.
Done.
Hey.
Thanks. Congrats, you guys.
Clap.
It'll be huge. What's that?
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you.
No, thanks
Thank
for all
you.
your work on it.
Danielle. Article 6, aided DDA training recap. Oh, that's me. So a few of us, Steve was there, I went, and Jessica was there for the Michigan Downtown Association, kind of like a little, sort of a workshop. They gave us a lot of information about what the MDA does, talked to us about, asked what some of our challenges, and there were several people from probably 5 different locales that had also joined the meeting. And so they were asking what some of the challenges that the DDAs were, and some of them were like township managers or, there were a few different things. One of the things, Steve actually asked about regional. It seems, and Jade, you might have a kind of a better handle on this, having been on the east side of the state. It seems like MDA does a lot on the east side of the state because that's where they're located. So Steve asked about, regional kinds of activities that, and I think what the conversation was around was, can we put something together where DDA members from, in West Michigan could have some sort of regional kind of meeting, workshop, whatever. Because it's a great place for people to trade ideas, and things that they're working on and things like that. So that might be something that we would think about doing in the future. And the one thing that I brought up was that, people don't always understand what the DDA does or who we are, what we do. And that seemed to be kind of a common thing with amongst all the people there. So there is, I mean, we have a copy of the slide presentation that they had put together, which we can share. I think, Jess, do you have that digital version? Did she send it?
It's in here.
Oh, it is, oh, that's what I'm looking at right now.
It's really helpful.
Yeah, it was really good. A lot of good information and, you know, this one, so they have the tax increment financing. I mean, that's a big thing that people don't understand in general, like where the funding comes from and how that all works. And then, oh, she gave a lot of examples of what other DDA boards are doing, because there was a part of the conversation that was around what can we do with the tax increment financing? What can't we do? And the answer to what can't we do was read the act. It will tell you, you know, what the guide rails are. So all in all, it was really valuable. The information was great. I think that, you know, the other thing that came up, was, do they have sort of a repository that, you know, has a lot of information about what other DDAs are doing, whether it's event related or projects or things like that, so that it's, you know, it's kind of a resource center. And so she said that they're, you know, trying to work on doing that. It's a lot of work for people to do. So, but I think that there's a lot of stuff that MDA can help us with. And so it's a valuable resource. Did you talk to Jade about who are the contacts? Okay. Any questions?
Thanks for
I
going.
can add a couple of things. I wasn't at the meeting, but if I can add a couple of things from the DDA regional approach. Yeah, I think that there are things that we could do even just within this part of Kent County with the other DDAs to
Yeah.
talk about what they're doing, what we're doing, make sure. One of the things about, you know, I use this past weekend as an example, as we're doing things to attract people to our DDAs, we want to make sure we're not conflicting so that we don't run something the same weekend they're doing something, so that you're not, you know, we're granted our DDA is we want to really focus on Cascade and Cascade's residents, but naturally you're going to draw a bigger crowd and you want to support all the businesses economically. So you want to make sure you don't have some crossover, but yeah, I think that's a great idea to cross pollinate, I guess, with the other DDAs and see what we can do. And I mean, two heads are better than one, right? So.
Yeah. Be collaborative.
Yeah. And then the other thing, they probably didn't talk about this because I don't want to say it's a direct competition, but they may have mentioned Michigan Main Street, which is, there's a national organization called National Main Street. It's really geared at communities that have traditional downtowns. But as we move to kind of transform our village, it doesn't mean that we can't join that organization. They have a whole stock of resources already. Like they will come in and they have all kinds of things that DDAs can use. It's a branch of the MEDC, so it's at the state level, but they also have a national level. We were very active in that in one of the communities I was in and found it very, very beneficial, especially when we were starting to draw a lot of attention to the DDA, try and define the DDA and then communicate with the public. So I'm really glad that some of you went and found this very valuable. I know there's a lot here, but
Yeah.
this will also, you know, I talked with Michelle, she kind of felt like we had she had purpose now, because now she knows what the DDA does. And we're gonna still put together those, Jessica's working on it now, the thank you.
Yeah.
The packets so this full hard copy will actually go in that as well as
Yeah.
a resource for down the road.
So the onboarding piece, yeah,
Yes,
because I said to Jessica, this is basically
this is,
a ton of information for onboarding.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, helps us all understand
Mhm.
how we move forward in branding the Cascade DDA.
and just the fact that Ada hosted this with Cascade and Walker, it shows that's regional cooperation right there. So we
Mhm.
split the cost. It was economical for all DDAs and people got something out of it. And, you know,
Yeah.
got some additional education, so.
Yeah,
I love this page right here, just purpose of a DDA.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that alone just helped me understand our focus better than
Yeah.
anything.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Even though we've been doing it, just that one sentence.
We just didn't have it formalized in a way
Yeah.
that we could share it well.
Our little elevator speech.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna
Mhm.
fine tune from this, because when people ask about taxes and where their tax dollars go,
Yeah.
takeaways, they're not going, you're not losing out anything.
Mm-mm.
This is
No, and
separate.
most people don't understand,
Mm-mm.
even, even people that are kind of understanding of sort of financial and tax, they don't understand tax increment financing and how it works.
That might go good in that monthly connection.
The paper one?
Yeah.
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Website.
That's what I was just, yeah, we should have a section as we
Yeah.
redo parts of the website chunks. This kind
Yeah.
of like an intro
And
explanation.
too.
Yes, for the
Mhm.
public. Yeah.
This, yeah,
Well, and
but
there
then
was a lot of good information in the last newsletter that you did.
which information?
Well, there was information about how a millage works. I mean,
Oh,
all.
yeah, yeah.
We had talked about that because a lot of people think that they're paying extra for all these things and it's like, you're not.
So
Right.
the fire
So-
millage, resident, pretty vocal resident, nice guy, right? Well, I can't, I don't want I don't want any of these millage dollars to go to the DDA. It's not you guys personally, it's more like not understanding what it is
Yeah, right.
and so I had to explain like, it's totally
Right.
fire only and two, DDA is.
Right, completely separate.
So after the conversation, then he was fine, but
Right.
it's just a lack of understanding,
Eh,
lack
yeah.
of hearing about it.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we've talked before about how do we educate people in the community to help them understand, like when millages come up or where our funding comes from, how we determine how we spend it, all that sort of thing.
Is that a snoozer topic if it can be pretty quickly addressed in the newsletter? Because it's good timing before the village.
Yeah, we can pull some information right out of here, like I don't know, we go into detail, but we can put this actually on our website
Mhm.
and then do a link back to it and then make a statement that catches people's eyes. So we can do that.
I could do it on the first 2 pages if we're short.
Mhm.
And I mean, ultimately, can we have a section in the newsletter that's about around the DDA and what sort of an update, a DDA update kind of thing?
150%.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be, people, it's like, we're right on the edge, right, of like. People will see action,
Yeah.
even though we've been doing
Right.
stuff behind the scenes, so
Right.
it's gonna be.
Right.
Maybe our
Well,
first little section in the newsletter could announce the new grant thing.
Yeah.
But yes,
That'd be a fun thing for the
Yep.
DDA
Yep.
to announce.
Yeah,
and then we just had to be careful before because people wanna see action, like see
Right.
things, and so it had to be kind of vague and.
right. General at first, but if we have that spot, a
Mhm.
platform, then, and what made me think about it was, as we're updating on like these projects, when we talked about the pedestrian bridge and the fact that we basically had a contractor issue. I mean, that helps people understand, oh, they're not just like sitting on their hands.
Mhm.
It's
It was
that
super
these
helpful
things
that
happen.
Jade brought in the engineers, right, to have that. Cause we weren't gonna take the fall for it, we were not gonna take the.
No. No, but the more we get that out,
Yeah.
what they call in PR, get out in front of it
Mhm.
before people get all wigged out about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There will be a lot more interest too, cause this is gonna be.
Yeah.
exciting.
Right, more and more.
Hype.
Article 7, Christmas tree lighting subcommittee.
So a few months back, actually quite a while back, we put together an annual calendar of things that were coming up. And I think last year we started to talk about Christmas lights in November, which it's clearly too late at that point. So I just wanted to put this on here to say that we're already thinking about it. Some of the things that are going to be changing. It kind of goes into a little bit of my update too, but the Memorial Park by the museum, the landscaping is going to be redone there, and where the flagpole is, this is before my time, used to be a very large evergreen tree. That's coming back. The flagpole is going to be moved. We're looking at least a 14-foot evergreen tree that's going to go there. So we're looking to make sure that that is ready to go. That'll be up by October in place. But Jessica and I pretty much handled the handling of the tree lighting or the lighting of the village last year. And then the Historical Society handled a lot of the tree lighting ceremony. We're looking to elevate that a little bit and get a little bit of a head start. So if anybody wants to help and contribute, let us know, because we're going to start that process now. We pulled the contract from last year, and then I wanted to see what everybody thought about the lights that actually did go up last year that we had. And see if there were any changes.
They were kind of dim on the light poles, but. Thought they were a little,
Dim and
Hate to say
they
it.
weren't very bright.
yeah, like.
Well, if
oh.
nobody remembers, then that means we need to do something different.
Like, I think we could do a lot better.
Well, I
Just
think,
a question, you guys, and I don't know how to make this happen, but years ago, when we started Bridal Elegance, we've got this big pine tree in front of our building that we lit up one year, and I thought it was gorgeous, because you would come down Old 28th Street and you would
Yeah.
see this thing lit
Yeah.
up from top to bottom, and then you would see the church behind it, and you could see it coming down Cascade. But like consumers chopped off half of the top of it because of like
The lines.
the lines, and it looks really bad now, and people would pull the like lights down in the middle. I don't know if there's a way to make that tree look really pretty, and like we'd be willing, I don't know, like, I don't know if you can ask, like, I know it's on my property, so I'd have to do it, but I thought it looked really, really gorgeous when we did do it.
Mhm.
so I'm meeting tomorrow, actually. If Grace is probably gonna join me. I'm meeting Harder and Werner at the park because they're the ones that are gonna do the site prep. And then secure the plantings and get the tree for us at the park. I can walk down the street and have them take a look at the tree and see if they have any suggestions.
Okay,
If
so
that-
you could ask them, I mean, we do a lot of work with Harder and Warner
Okay,
too, so,
okay.
I mean, like, my husband can meet you guys as well if you want,
Okay.
but yeah. Or anything, cause, I mean, I
Yes.
know that's not Cascade, but like, I've tried a couple
Yeah.
times to do it, but I'd never get it out in front of it in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that tree is in every picture when you look down.
I
that-
know, but it just looks
yeah.
so stupid because half of it is cut off at the top.
So we asked them if it's worth,
Yeah.
well, saving, I mean, it sounds like it's healthy, even though.
It
they
is,
cut-
it's just consumers
it's
cut
just
off
half.
half of the top of it, and so I was like, look, you know, and anyway, I just think, like,
Mhm.
it would be really pretty if we,
Decorated.
number one,
it
if I
some-
figured it out in time and did it,
Yeah.
depending on the cost, but.
Yeah.
Well-
So what we can do is, we can get with the contractor, although we may not remember the lights, they actually were very responsive and acted very quickly last year at a, last minute notice. We can get with them again and have them come out and do a new proposal to really make the village something that people will remember and look at things like that. Because even if is it actually on your property or is it in the right of way? Do you know?
I think it's on our property. It's
Okay.
not on this, it's like
It's not in the
inside.
easement?
Well, we have this like cement wall that, it's inside the cement wall,
Okay.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
that-
I
Yeah,
don't know.
but
I
it
don't
could
know
still be
specifically.
incorporated in-
I don't even walk
Yeah.
in the front.
Are blowups tacky?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, but what if it's in a what if it's in a flattened, what if it's in a future construction site that just got leveled in a key spot that already looks crappy, but
that
it's no
could be
longer
fun.
yellow and
I
brown?
think you could do it in a fun way, if that's the
Like a
only
mass,
place.
not a dorky blow up, but
And-
like a
No.
holy crud, where did they
Grace,
order that
Do
thing?
we need to show them the blow up you wanted last year for in front of the library?
I don't know what you're
Oh.
talking about. It was a Santa Claus that
I
was like,
don't
oh, it
know.
was hilarious.
I probably into the whole lawn blow up, so.
But like, oh, you,
Yes,
no,
great.
you invented it. Oh my gosh, you
Yes,
like
great.
wrote the book on it.
He does.
I've driven by your house just to like.
No, I've brought down property values, even though.
You brought it. Yeah, Christmas cheer though.
Everybody goes down to your house to see them every year.
You're just
How
spreading
many
holiday
ends?
cheer.
My
I
clerk.
mean, maybe this is the year to try it, because
Yeah.
you have that, we have that property. to
But
take
I
it on.
also agree that generally you want to go classy in the village area, and I was thinking the library might be a good opportunity in the front to be a little obnoxious because it's you just blame the
for
kids
kids.
in the library.
So I have a question about that. When is that property being cleared?
What should we do at the pavilion? We gotta do.
Wait, when is that property
Fall.
being cleared?
So I am waiting for the official disconnect letters from DTE and consumers, and we've got a contractor lined up that's gonna have it done within 30 days of us getting those letters. So
So.
it'll be done.
Before the holidays, it's gonna. be
I'm hoping
cleared.
before November.
Okay.
Yes.
But
So
how
we don't know for
reasonable
sure.
is October?
Oh, I think it's reasonable. Because we're not taking out the foundation, we're just doing the building and then cleaning up the site.
We
Okay.
do something fun there.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
Right. But maybe it could be something that's like more engaging with
Totally fine. I
people,
just can't think of, like-
I don't know, we could do a Christmas market there or something. I don't know.
And Tassel Park will soon be like the gem anchor, amazing center point, but it's not right now. So you know that really expensive tree that gets stuck in the pavilion at Tassel Park and you don't really see it?
Has
We could
lights
move
on
that
it?
to the pavilion at the,
Well, so that actually leads to the other
Library.
question I have is. I would like to be thoughtful about. How many trees we have lit, because it's like. For the tree lighting ceremony, that should be like the star
Mhm.
thing, right?
Kinda
And not have a
complicated.
bunch of competing things going on.
but it kind of can't because it's not big enough.
What?
It kind of can't be the star because it's not big enough.
The one in Memorial Park, that's gonna go in Memorial Park?
It's up on a hill though, too.
That's true.
So-
And it's in a prime location and it
You could-
will be the
So,
star.
all I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I don't care where but for us to be thoughtful about that and not have it
So
like
we can,
all over the place.
what I'm, if I can suggest, I would like to turn to the contractor and have them come out and
Yes.
assess the property and say, this would look really good here, and they can come back with a proposal. That
Is
would
this
be,
Drew that you're meeting with tomorrow?
no, tomorrow's with Harder and Warner.
Drew at Harder and.
Oh,
Warner?
no, Ben,
Oh, oh,
he was the lead, he did all of Friendship Park.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's doing our, he's been maintaining the Stone House now as well.
Okay.
Did he talk about budgets? Cause remember we got that donation from
Not yet.
Daily Bread? And I don't want to say it on the microphone too.
Are we
So-
gonna try to do something with Stony House?
I think it would be beautiful to do something
Yeah.
like
I
that.
think that
I do
with the
too.
hill and everything
Yeah.
else,
Yeah,
to
so.
activate it.
Yep,
So, so yeah, if everybody's open to that, we could do that. And if anybody's interested in, if we have a meeting where I can bring
Okay.
it back to this
so,
group.
so
next-
you want people for this subcommittee?
Yeah, we called it a subcommittee. I'm not a huge fan of subcommittees, but I think it's, if there were a couple people that wanted to help that have time, I mean, I know everybody's time is valuable. Jessica guy can handle it, but
Okay.
I also know it's something I want you guys to be proud of too, as a
Okay.
authority, so.
So you just want people to like send you an email and say?
Yeah,
Hey,
that's fine.
okay,
Yep.
all right,
And even if it's, we get a proposal and we can send it to you and say, hey, this is what they're suggesting. We want to bring this back to the next TDA meeting. What do you think?
yeah,
Of course, we can't take votes that way, but we can definitely kind of get a feel for where we're headed and then bring it back here in October for hopefully approval and implementation and in November.
okay.
Okay,
Embarrassing question. So as a DDA panel, we have funding to do whatever you guys are asking, right?
yes.
We have it, it's in our budget.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And are we envisioning,
Every
we're
year.
probably gonna do kind of a like small, medium, large display
Yeah.
kind of quote of like, if you want to be over the top, if you want to
Yeah.
do what you did.
Yeah.
Which I think is I think the baseline is what we did last year.
Okay,
Yeah,
And then do two
Yeah.
elevations
yeah.
to see what that could look like.
Yeah, well, and I think it can be kind of a progression of as things get done in the village area. That, it gets more and bigger and bolder and all of that sort of thing to sort of maybe highlight some of those new areas that are coming online.
I think Buildings and Grounds did the light poles, so,
Yeah,
and,
they did.
um,
The lighting company did the
yeah.
pavilion at Castle Park. They
Oh, and
did-
the Old Township Hall along the roof
Yes.
line.
Yeah, so that's what the contractor did part of it.
Mhm.
Parks and Rec did.
I'll bet you some of your businesses, if you said to them like, hey, our Parks and Rec or Harder and Warner will do. Like if somebody had ever said to me, hey, Harder and Warner will do your tree for X amount, if you just sign here, they'll bill you, I would have been like, check, done.
Cause it's off your plate.
Yes, because I just always would think about it on like December 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, I should get the tree lit up. Too late.
Yeah,
That's a good.
we can
point.
get that message
And,
out
like,
there.
Would send out to like any of the businesses that you're like, hey, it'd be really nice if such and such business would do this and just be like,
That's a great idea.
you know, if
We
you
can do
want
that.
your business decorated for the holidays, Carter and Warner suggests this, here's how much. Here's what day they would do it. If you want it done,
Right.
Okay,
here's the bill.
It would be
Yeah.
fun to
Me
see
too.
Tuffy and the
Scott, we need you
pavilion.
stringing
Some-
lights. Instead of every other light pole, I think we gotta go every light pole, just.
As long as I don't have to get up on a ladder and actually stream the. lights.
No, no.
Well, that's why I was.
No, no, this is just all the
No,
thinking
we
and
just-
planning.
We just boss people around.
Right.
That's fine, I can take that. Suck that up.
okay, we'll put together a plan and then bring it back.
We have a lot of new assets this year.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Moving on to Article 8, staff updates.
So just a couple of things. The first one, I don't have a full recap. We've been pretty busy to put it actually in writing, but Heritage Festival was last Saturday. Saw most of you there. It was so well attended. I think we estimate we had over 2,000 people there.
That's great.
We learned a lot. We absolutely learned a lot in regards to how it was set up, other organizations that want to participate, how to kind of set up vendors and get, because one of the challenges we had was you've got the historic Stonehouse, you've got the historic chapel, you've got the museum. Well, they're all kind of spread out. And then your facility too, or your building, which was the
I
old
just
fire
got your
station.
Email today, sorry.
You sent me an email?
No, I just saw the email today.
Oh, but so we wanted to make sure, because we did this really good, cool scavenger hunt with the kids and it was so well received. I think they counted today, they had 600 participants.
Wait, for the kids?
Yeah, we had 600 of those things turned in.
There's
That-
no way I stamped 600 pumpkins.
Well, you didn't. Other people were there too.
Weren't there other people?
I want to say it was 600. I could, maybe my numbers are wrong. I mean, the stack was like this thick.
Okay, that's good.
So, but we got the kids to go all around the village and learn a little bit, and then they got, Steve's not here, but anyone that completed the scavenger hunt got a free scoop of custard at Culver's. So it was great. And actually, that little activity right there is exactly what supports DDA businesses, because by him doing that, that just drove people into his business. So, because sometimes DDAs I think can get criticized for, oh, you're event planners. You do, no, we're more than that. Like, we're bringing people to the pond and then you've got to go fish them out with like different ways to get them to come into your business. So, but yeah, over 2,000 people. The band was great. The Stonehouse worked out beautifully. We're going to put out some pictures. The hill was, we couldn't have asked for better weather. The goats, they weren't as big of a hit as I thought they were going to be. I was kind of disappointed. They were super cute. Two of them got into a fight. They had to put them away, but that was fun. But overall, we're going to do a full written recap. We're going to get together, kind of regroup and see, what went well, what went wrong, what can we do differently next year. But overall, it was a huge success. And super happy for those of you that came out and volunteered in support of the event. So
If anything went wrong, I didn't hear any attendee say anything about anything was bad.
yeah. I got so many questions about what are we gonna do with the Stonehouse? And so many people are like, oh, I could rent this for a baby shower, a wedding
Oh.
shower, a small wedding in the back. So
Yeah.
I think we're on to something, which right in your backyard, right? So, but yeah, I mean, so there was lots of comments about that, because there were some people, actually Steve had mentioned to me, or maybe it was you, Scott, that said that he wished I would have shown pictures of the inside when I came to ask for you guys to fund it, because there's nothing that needs to be done on the inside. I mean, it's a little dated, but it's
Yeah.
clean.
It is.
It's done really well. We don't have to put a lot of money into it to make it something that would be really special for someone to rent. So, it was a great event.
There was a girl right in front of me when I was walking through the house and she said, I can hardly wait to have my wedding here.
What?
Really?
Joking. How old was she? Like 5?
No,
Or like-
no, she was an adult.
Oh,
I mean, old enough to be married.
wow.
We're big, I mean, not everyone's doing big weddings anymore.
No.
They're doing smaller.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it was
That is-
great.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
gosh,
I said, that's a
yes.
big problem.
Oh, the big
You
wedding.
need big weddings.
Sorry.
No, you just
They
need her
dress
to
well.
buy a really great dress.
Yeah, just the dress.
They can have like 10 people stand up. It's just, that might be the whole wedding.
So if anybody was there and has any feedback, please send it my way, so we can make sure to address it with the big group that was kind of behind planning everything. The other item I wanted to just touch on was the pedestrian bridge. As you mentioned, that project's been delayed. No, that because of the contractor. And actually it goes a little bit bigger than that because they have some really big contracts that they're under time constraints with the state, but they have some materials that they're waiting for that are in back order. So they have to wait to get those projects going. They didn't want to start our project and then pick it up and then, you know, fall
Right.
behind. So I'm sorry.
Ask a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
How feasible is it to start that project? If we're gonna start it late, to start it like in January? The only reason why I ask that is I can't speak for every business that's on Cascade Road, but we're right on Cascade Road, right in the heart of the DDA. And when there's traffic or construction in October, November, December, which are arguably three of the most important months for us,
Mhm.
people completely avoid Cascade and they'll go around to Thornapple or other ways. And it kills us. And I can't be the only business that feels that. The Roadhouse would feel that. The other shops and restaurants that are on that strip would feel that. January's dead. And like half of the city's gone. They're in Florida, January, February, March. So I'm not sure if that's even remotely.
Yeah, they were
possible.
gonna get started with some winter work and then close back down and then start back up in the summer or in the spring. I don't have the exact
Okay.
dates yet.
But would they open all 4 lanes up when they shut down? Or would it be?
I don't,
I think they shift everything, cause they have,
they were only gonna close like one lane at a time. So it's not like, not even, traffic can still go both directions and they're only working in the outside lanes.
But I don't know if either one of you guys have driven on East Paris lately. Like,
Yep.
they're down to 1 lane each way and it backs up from the
Yeah.
corner of East Paris and 28th Street
Yeah.
to the far
up to
end of
Cascade
Cascade.
Road.
It's insane. So like,
Mhm.
you know, Cascade's a busy road too.
Yeah.
And it just worries me as a small business and it's gonna have a bad impact on others too. And my wife is my boss and I talked to her and she's like, you authorized what?
My wife.
I said I didn't have a choice, but I said I would bring it up.
Yeah.
As her concern that, hey, that would.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. We'll definitely work with the contractor. The contractor, if you want to, the link is on the website to go back and watch what the board put them through at the last board meeting in regards to how they were gonna get this accomplished. So you put them through the ringer and ask some very poignant questions. They know we're very serious about this project and it needs to run smoothly. So
But we don't have an ET on when it's gonna start. Yeah.
I don't.
Perfect.
I can't.
It sounds like it's not gonna start till after the first of the year.
Because they can't get started until they finish these other projects
Right.
with MDOT.
Okay.
Which
I
MDOT,
mean,
that
we're almost to October, so.
Are they on the hook though to have that, well, but they were before, to have it finished by Memorial Day?
but yes, they are still finishing by May of 2025.
And this is the same contractor you originally contracted with. We're still
Oh.
with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other contractor, we went to the second bidder, talked to them. The timeline really did not change between the two. There was some pricing differences, but at the end of the day, they were so far along down this path that
Yeah,
what their solution was, and they're working with our contracted engineers on this process, so.
and we're sure that they can actually do it now that if it's gonna be the delayed start.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Do they have a bond or something
yeah,
that,
we have a bond. Yep.
okay,
So we're gonna lose, we'll at least lose 1 lane, right?
We
Just over
have
the
to.
bridge.
Have to, oh, sorry, short-term working wise, and then they're just gonna restripe it, so it's not as
Right.
right.
excessive now, but I'm just thinking
Yes.
during construction
We'll
for.
have one going each way in a center lane or no?
That's the thing, so you have to have that turn.
I
lane
would think
at
so.
The the main
I can,
intersection.
Rishi, I can get you I don't want to speculate tonight because I don't have, they already have they already have the plan that was approved by the board. And it shows exactly what their construction management plan is in there, so I can let you know.
And just to
Yep.
read,
Yeah.
how long of a project was it again? I'm sorry. it was-
3 months.
3 months, okay.
That's not bad.
And so, but there's no chance of it starting in January and being done by March?
No,
No.
that would be fantastic, but I don't think that's realistic.
Selfish, but amazing.
That would be amazing. No one would even notice.
That's what I'm saying. After like January, it's like everyone leaves and it's like April, they start coming back. So you're like, oh, it's done.
I'll still be here, Rishi. I'll come down.
I will also be here. Yes.
The next item, we talked about the Tuffy site, so I have a plan, getting pretty aggressive with finding another contractor that we had found one. It's not working out, so I'm finding another contractor to get this down ASAP. Although won't do any earthwork, but we'll at least get the building down, clean up the site, so it'll look much better than it is currently.
That might be a fun site for the Christmas tree farm that's behind,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't know, if the
Oh, yeah,
parking would be
could
bad.
put one up. It would be a temporary.
That guy's got,
one.
he's like, he wrote that into his what, sale of the building, right? The guy behind you, Christmas tree guy?
Yeah.
It'd be more visible for them and.
Except we don't really want to let, okay,
Wait, so what's going on?
we don't want him on our property. We appreciate his business. It sets a bad precedent to.
Yeah.
Although it would look really cute.
Okay.
But we can find out we can come up with
We
something
could
fun
do
to do
some
with that
other
site.
holiday things though there
Well,
since
Christmas
that's,
tree guy,
yeah.
that's the Bill, super nice guy.
yeah. Okay. OHM,
Yes, so OHM, October 17th is the date that they were gonna come. It's an off, DDA meeting day, but they're gonna come and present to the DDA and to the board, the three concepts. We're looking at doing that in the afternoon, because it's a pretty lengthy, well, when I say lengthy, it's gonna be a 2 to 3 hour session to review that. I will get that email out tomorrow to everybody as far as a formal invitation for that. We'll do it right here in this room. They will come and present the three concepts and take feedback and then go back to the drawing board with all of the comments from the three concepts and come up with a final concept that will be what we'll work towards. So,
okay.
just to, because I guess we have one more meeting before that. But, just to set expectations too. Half of the concept is going to be working on properties that are currently occupied, like Walgreens. And it may look like that's not what, it may be something completely different, like housing or, multi-use. But this is all a concept. It's not anything. So we'll work on between now and then. Tony's really good about how we can communicate this to the community because there's gonna be property owners that are gonna be like, well, you're taking my property and you're gonna do that. That's not it. This is conceptually, if we wanted the perfect village in Cascade, this is what it could look like. And then here's what the township's gonna go ahead and start and do. So he'll work through all of that, kind of set the tone, and we'll obviously record it. That way the public will be able to see it and hear that this is the intent and this is how we're gonna continue to reimagine the village.
And you said that meeting is October 17th?
Mhm.
Yeah, so we have a DDA meeting on the 15th, I think.
So if we want, well, we'll have the Christmas stuff to discuss, but I don't know if we wanted to replace the 15th with the 17th. That's up to you guys.
Refer to you guys.
We don't have to decide tonight. I
Okay.
just throwing it out there.
But, and you're gonna send an email tomorrow?
Yep. Mhm.
Confirming the meeting
Yes,
date.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. Good.
Thornapple Plaza Halloween event?
Yeah, so the reason we put this in here is, so Thornapple Plaza is the one where D&W is at. They are always doing something in that shopping center with the businesses there, and they do it, there's a gentleman there who owns a karate studio. And he seems to be the one that is organizing everything that happens there. There's a boutique dog pet area, there's Pit Stop, I think is the restaurant that's there. They're very active and they're trying to do what the DDA is doing, which is try and get people in their shopping plaza. So it's not uncommon for us to receive things like this at Township Hall where he's promoting what they're doing. So I wanted to include it because they are part of the DDA in your package, just so you're aware. And then I think it's great that they're doing this because as we start to build, attention to the district, I know they're going to want to be included on some of the things that we do. And that's another spot where we could actually host some events for DDA that are DDA related as well. But I just wanted to throw this out there because this is coming up and this is one of our DDA members. And that's all that I have. I think, yes.
Hallmark's not participating?
They're not?
They should for all the money I spent there.
I know.
Is that
Oh.
Walgreens?
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, do we know if that Walgreens is gonna, a lot of them have been closing up. I don't think Cascade is in the, like, it seems to always be busy, but
I know, I haven't heard about Walgreens, but I know Rite Aid is closing up shop across the, I think across the country.
I haven't heard that Walgreens is. gonna
no, I
be-
know they've shut some locations, so I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if that was.
That place
And
is
so it's
Always
interesting.
busy.
Always
Yeah,
busy.
and it's interesting that you say that because one of the things that I had a conversation with another board member in regards to the concept and I was explaining it to them. They're like, yeah, but Walgreens will always be Walgreens. And literally Rite Aid had just announced that week that they were going bankrupt.
Yeah,
And I said, that's not true. I said, stuff happens. And if Walgreens always stays with Walgreens, well, then we always have a Walgreens. But if it doesn't, and we have something out there that says this is what we'd like to see, then we're halfway down that path and a developer or the landowner can say, oh, this is what the township wants. I'm gonna go talk to them and see if we can,
Make it work.
meet in the middle, whatever the case may be. So, I forgot to say one thing. For those of you that weren't there on Saturday, I put these on your keyboards. These are tickets to, we had All Artworks, which put up some art in the Stonehouse for Heritage Festival. And they actually are a participant at Art Prize this weekend. They have the largest indoor, the largest exhibit ever for artworks, and it's actually, you have to pay to go in. So this is actually, because the DDA sponsored Heritage Festival and them coming in, these are tickets to the actual event. I think they're good this Thursday through Sunday.
Nice, thank you.
If anybody doesn't want their ticket, can I have it?
Yes, and I have a few extra too.
Do you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The only day I can go is on Friday. And I mean, I was going to Art Prize anyway, and I have
Okay.
a friend who is a professor at Kendall.
No, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Article 9, any other business?
No, I guess everyone's looking at me. I guess the group definitely got my email, and just what we experienced, another incident around, the Red Roof Inn. I think my ask of just is it possible to look into beyond just adding more patrols? And while the ordinance is very, very much appreciated, is there some tactics or something like, even if there was, and I can get permission from my landlord to put an array of cameras up with the Kent County Sheriff's Department light at the top of it, or something that would deter crime and put eyes on that property in that intersection 24/7. I think, we've been in business 8 years, and we have not seen a slowdown. We've seen ebbs and flows, but the result is very consistent. But we've seen an elevation in activity with, when you have a SWAT team there with snipers and a CSI team where you've had a murder and you've gone through I've shared a lot of our experiences there. It is definitely an area that consistently has elevated crime. And it's not low-level crime like someone was shoplifting. There's a serious criminal activity, and if there are some things that can be done to deter crime in the area and arm, or in a sense, empower the sheriff's department to do better policing, is there some options we can consider to address the crime? Because I don't think the solution, I think the ordinance is, yes, that's an awesome step forward that we've never done before. I think the next step is it's more than elevating the patrols, and because we're investing money in patrols. And I think that's been tried year after year. So I think if there are some other creative things that if the sheriff's department can come back to us, or if there is someone to speak to of what could we try there?
so I think, remember when we had the sheriff come in and give a report, and I think we talked about, me and you, about maybe putting together some sort of a grant for lighting and security, and we thought about that.
It was your idea. That was a really good idea.
Yeah, and it was just because, as shopkeepers, like, lighting is really important. And I think it deters a lot. If you have a dimly lit area, for whatever reason, it just invites all kind of things. And I'd like to think we invest really well in lighting that's amicable yet bright and that highlights all four corners of her store. But just like any business, I think those camera systems get antiquated and sometimes, you know, for Scott, you know, we're retail, so we're more focused on what's being stolen inside of the store, maybe not necessarily what's going on Cascade Road or Orange Avenue but it'd be nice to have cameras pointing at those areas. That way, if something happens there and they're shooting down Cascade Road and there's cameras on our property, then police have access to that footage that, hey, they, you know, and I think that's a good idea. I think having security cameras that are dedicated for public streets on private properties can be an asset to crime prevention and deterrence, certainly. But lighting is really, I agree with Scott, that's super
And
important.
what's been challenging is it's not even a nighttime activity. Some of it is obviously. But the shooting that was there a couple months ago was at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The murder was during daylight hours. The SWAT team coming in with the snipers was at 11 o'clock in the morning. So it isn't a time specific issue. I think if that's what's happening in daylight hours, like
God
I
knows.
can only imagine what's happening at night, right? And so I think it's just, that's the difficulty I have is this, I've got, you know, team members who start at 5:30 in the morning and I've got team members leaving at not super late, but you know, 7
But I
PM.
think, yeah,
8
lighting.
PM.
By the
Lighting
time-
is
Cameras
really
are low
important.
investment, high return in terms of, you know, so that's something I don't know if the board would want to discuss something like
What does
that.
your landlord say about putting cameras up on the bill? I mean, has, you can.
I'm pretty sure he would be on board with doing it, cause he's come to me asking, is there anything we can do? Because he's concerned about the crime there as well. I mean, everyone's rumbling about it. It's kind of a helpless feeling.
And maybe signage saying it is being monitored, that might deter.
It is, and I'm thinking of elevating to a point where like what I see in Chicago, where you just have an array that says Chicago Police Department and it's their cameras. They
So
manage
did-
them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day of like, can we help fund cameras and then the sheriff's department it ultimately manages them if they would be open to it. That's just one idea, right? As we're brainstorming.
Would it be helpful? I don't know, cause I don't
Yeah.
know much about the area of security. Would it be helpful if cause we have a couple of pretty big security companies here in Grand Rapids. Would it be helpful if we asked if they would send somebody into one of our meetings and just talk to us about, you know, how, with these things going on? I'm sure they do all kinds of consulting work too, to, you know, help you understand this works, this doesn't. It's kind of like a best practices thing where cause we're saying, you know, we think that this would work, but to get somebody to come in and say, yeah, this is what really works well. These things work, maybe not as well as these other
Fully agree.
things. And I'm sure that they would send, like Kendall Security or DK is here. They're a big security company. I'm sure they would send somebody over to a DDA meeting here and just talk to us about what.
Well, I think, you know, we can reach out to them and see if they do that kind of presentation. We also could, I know they were just here and presented, but they kind of did a really high level. I did meet with Omar, actually just yesterday on something else, so this obviously came up. But the sheriff's office could probably do it too. And what I would suggest is that we don't limit it to a DDA meeting, that we open it up to the DDA businesses, actually hold a
Yeah.
seminar
Yeah,
for any business that wants
Yeah.
to come in and learn about this.
yeah,
And then they can walk away with some resources and we can talk to them about, you know, maybe the sheriff's office can put some cameras up and down, you know, those at high traffic areas or those high crime areas. The unfortunate thing about this incident was the crime happened in another community and then they took respite in the hotel.
yeah.
So.
Why do they take respite? I'm
Because
sorry.
it's got its reputation.
Yeah, it's like,
Close to the highway.
Are there
She-
cameras
Right
on
off the
your
highway
building
and
anywhere?
outside, so
What's
it's
that?
perfect
Are there
if you're
cameras on
in
your
Grand
building
Rapids,
anywhere
right?
outside?
Hop on the highway,
Yeah.
but you only have to be on it for
Oh,
5
that-
minutes.
Everything has them,
I
I
saw
don't
police
have them pointed
helicopter
out. I haven't put an array. I've got them
today, and there
Got
was
them inside my
5 cop
business.
cars
I added them.
Really?
surrounding.
We
the
haven't
house.
added them all to
This
the
was
parking
here?
lot.
Wait, where?
No, yeah,
where-
Behind the Hilton there?
In adding them, I was.
Oh,
You
thinking-
mean the places
I didn't know
behind the,
In those
cameras
townhomes.
Oh,
back
wow.
there, They surrounded it.
And there was a
They're not-
helicopter?
They're not
Because they're-
inexpensive back there. There's probably, they're like, you're paying 2,500 a month in rent, so it's not a cheap. place to
Back
be
in
there.
No,
Centennial.
it's like,
But
you
it's
have a police
perfect for-
helicopter, I gotta figure it's kind of
Well,
serious.
you know what, there's also a gun and ammunition store back there,
Wait,
cellar, that's back in Centennial.
Oh, on the other, well, remember what happened there?
Top.
Are you talking
well,
about the
that's
Hilton
our
Patterson?
ramp.
Yeah, the Hilton. on Patterson.
Barracks.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember
on
at
that
Barracks
side.
616? It was, I think it was in 2020.
Yeah,
Jade, this was before your time. Stolen car.
Oh, I
Take
remember.
the car, drive it in through the
through the building.
entrance door wall, steal as much stuff as you can, get out.
To the.
And I
to
think
the-
that was the second time they got hit.
Well, I don't know what we can do as a DDA with what our agenda is, what our vision is to help with crime. We have money we can, but we don't wanna undermine the Kent County Sheriff's Department, because I'm sure they're trying to do the best they can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I don't
can-
want them to think that we're.
Yeah, so I,
Yeah.
like I said, I met with Omar. I can go back and say this was a definitely a topic of conversation at the DDA. We need to do something. We need to do something better. What can we do? And see if he has suggestions. We also can reach out to the security firms to see if they have, the sheriff's office will be a little, they'll be upset if
Yeah.
we call the security.
Could more
companies
go to
first.
the,
But-
what we're talking about is more on the preemptive side. What can you do to prevent the crimes from happening or deter them? I mean, the sheriffs, they're trying to cruise, patrol, catch, you know, when things are happening, like real time in the minute. But so I think we're talking about what can we do to help prevent it from happening, or at least make it harder for people to feel like they can get away with it.
And, you know, my point of view is like, what could Kent County be able to do if they were given the resources for it?
Yeah.
meaning Financial.
Yeah.
If the only reason why they aren't doing, you say, I'm making this up, say that camera idea is crime decreases significantly in that area, but it comes down to a cost thing where the DDA could maybe partner with Kent County to help them out. And I don't know if things like that are possible.
So we've had these conversations with Omar, I think he's been here the
Yeah.
entire time. And our public safety or police millage is adequate, like well-funded. We've got, so we've given him the green light to like throw at it whatever he recommends. And, so I don't,
And
so
from-
it should come from the public safety.
there
I
something
don't, not DDA funds, not, say- but you know, just
Mhm.
well, and from the last meeting when I've forgotten her name, the other deputy came.
Kate.
Kate,
Hey, she said, because somebody asked, you know, about staffing and she said, we're well staffed, so it's not an issue that they can't
And
provide
they're
the
very present
resources.
I mean, they're making regular rounds
Yeah.
at the hotel.
Yeah,
I think the root cause of what's going on at the hotel, I think the ordinance hopefully long-term fixes it. And then is there things while the ordinance is doing what the ordinance should do, that there's some other things that can be done to help get us to a safer spot.
what's the timeline? I can't, for the ordinance, when we can start first striking?
Do
Oh,
they get fined or lose their license if they have so
It's
many?
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. You can't operate without a license.
Yeah.
There's a reason, we can't do that for all businesses.
No.
The fact that we're allowed to do that for hotels just shows it's exactly, you know, for a reason.
the date that was in the ordinance, everything's supposed to be in effect October 1st. We are getting, now, I say that, but I have to say a caveat that we're not gonna get 100% compliance by October 1st, but if we're working towards compliance and we're getting positive reception from the hotels, that's what we want. We want compliance. We do know, we've gotten a few phone calls, some of the bigger hotels, their corporate attorneys putting together what that extensive packet that we sent out to all the hotels. I think I had shared it with you guys. If not, I can share with you again, but it's a very extensive packet that they have to turn back into the township to get their license. And so there's certain ones that are taking it serious. Even the Red Roof was like receptive. And it's gonna be interesting to see how they manage the requirements of the program and then still operate the way they are, because it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. Something's gotta change, and
Right.
especially the types of, the way that they're operating,
Yeah.
taking, they're using it in a manner that's not consistent with a hotel. It's more like, the buses are showing up there.
Yeah, the
So
buses,
they
it's
can't do
regular
that.
bus routes are showing up at continuing to show up at the.
And we made sure to put, I mean, that's something that's in the ordinance, right?
What buses?
Long-term stays.
Oh,
That
yes,
kind of
yeah,
stuff. And so there's to continue operating the way, and we know which ones need to be watched closely or need to, so
Yeah.
you can't, it'll take a while because you have to follow through and enforce it.
Curious if their
More than worth
corporate
it.
entities know that these are under scrutiny.
Jay,
you
did
know?
you hear? So there's something about Red Roof Inn, like, what was that? court
Yes,
case
I
in
think
the-
it was,
Individual franchises, right? They're individual owners.
Yeah.
yeah, but the Red Roof name, and I'm sure that they went back after the franchise owners, but I think it was in Atlanta. It was a court case that not too long ago that I saw. They lost in court because they found them guilty of ignoring signs of sex trafficking and other illicit
Yeah.
activities in their hotel.
They don't care. right?
So it's not, clearly this is an issue in a lot of communities across the country, so that one caught my eye.
It is weird though, like you would think that the corporate,
Yeah, for their brand.
like that's
did-
Western, like it's unusual.
It's crazy.
Sorry, Scott. Sorry you're having to go. through
Yeah.
that.
No, I mean, it's just that I think if there are some additional things, that would be very much appreciated, especially as we start moving into, daylight savings. And it's just gonna be getting darker sooner. I mean, we do a lot of things to make sure our team is safe, but it's like, it's a sad state of affairs where you have to have a garbage buddy. Mandated, or else you're gonna be in trouble if you go outside the building
Yeah.
without someone with you.
Yeah.
We have a business in Memphis and our landlord has security that goes around
Mhm.
constantly. Does your landlord provide a security?
No, and we just don't have that big of a landlord. I mean, to give you an idea of how much of it has become an issue, North Point Bank hired a security firm after they invested all the money in that. Essentially, it's their headquarters
Right.
by Meyer. They invested in a security company.
Could they band together with some of the smaller strip malls right around there, McDonald's, all of those, and all of those people go together and hire a security guard he comes around and he is constantly checking on our girls. He knocks on the door, he makes sure we're fine, he checks, he found out my team left the door unlocked one night.
Wow.
And he's constantly going through
Yeah.
and he checks all up and down and I don't know what time he comes. I haven't heard much about him lately, but he's hired by the landlord.
Mhm.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be one landlord who only has a few spots, but it could be a bunch of them right in that corridor banding together and hiring somebody.
And I'm very open to a lot of different things. I think a lot of that will come on down to the select businesses that are willing to
Mhm.
make that investment. And
Mhm.
I think there's a number of neighbors that will look at their bottom line and say no. But I think I'm open to any suggestions.
The other thing about specifically the Red Roof, and I haven't thought about this till now, that hotel is kind of tucked back in down this. It's almost like its own little access alley, like
Mhm.
there. So once you get beyond those front businesses, it's dark. So it's an opportunity for people to hide. So I wonder if there's a way for us, as we work with the hotel owner, to look at the landscaping back there. Cause there's some pretty mature trees that are creating shadows, places to hide, so maybe there's some other things we can look at. I can talk to Andrea about that. Cause there's, of course,
Our
site plans.
landlord owns the property, not only where we're at, but also the property right behind that gas station, right in front of.
Also
the
on
Red
both
Roof.
sides of that road.
Oh, is that empty or?
It is empty. It was meant to have overflow parking.
Okay.
There's talks of it if EV charging starts to take off, create an EV charging site. He wants to activate and monetize that space if he can.
So would the board be, if Scott were to talk to Omar or the Kent County Sheriff's Department and come up with a proposal for cameras or lighting, would we be as a board opposed to looking at that? and
No,
seeing-
but the DDA isn't the avenue to do it. It's a with our public safety millage.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm not sure the training that's in your packet today. I don't know that the DDA Act would, well, it might,
mean,
I'm not sure.
If I were to say like this part of town, and this comes from like a selfish point of view as a business owner where I'm at. Down here, activating the downtown area is like, that's huge, right? And to get
Mhm.
people coming in, I think we have a really good retail activated space. We have the traffic we need. We have a whole host of things that are positive and productive to business. I think our biggest issue is the crime aspect. In that
100%.
in that corridor is probably the challenge that we have to make sure that businesses in that area are thriving or that they want to stay in the township.
I think we're gonna have a positive experience with what is the old Best Western, because right as we approved the hotel ordinance, that sold. So now we got a new owner that doesn't know anything different other than what we have. So we're hoping that they kind of pave the way for how hotel owners should be and work with the township on that. So, but you're right, all the way
Those-
down. If we can get all of them in that area, because there's a lot of commerce down there.
There's in the bad actors, the several really worse businesses. They're like related or have the same owner, they're connected, like it's not, and
It's just like management doesn't care.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they're not gonna serve as operating, there's no way they cannot survive that hotel ordinance. It'll take time. The only thing is, I guess this should be a good thing. I kind of found it disheartening because I was looking forward to just cracking down, checking, closing that door. But I guess the new Red Roof owner is super motivated to,
Yeah, well, there's a lot more than, I think you said it. You gotta do more than paint.
yeah,
That's
100%.
where he's starting, and that's not gonna,
And there's always been this thing of, oh, they have a new manager and that manager is traded, to your point, is traded between all the
Yep.
different
Yep.
locations. And a lot of times, I'm speculating, if that manager was cracking down, maybe your profits are coming down too. So it's.
When,
I think,
when we were out, I wasn't with them. It was our zoning administrator and the two deputies when delivered the packets. Well, they went to one and that particular one owned several others. Well, all of a sudden they showed up at the next one and the manager from the previous one was already there, ready to deal with it. So they were bouncing around and they were actually answering the phone for all three locations.
What? And wait, were they the ones that are
Yes, one of them. Yeah.
Candlewood Suites?
No.
Hmm.
Clear in.
Oh, and that was like not that bad, not too long ago.
Yeah.
When you drive by it, it doesn't stand out.
it's a hot potato. It
Mhm.
depends on which one it is, because a new manager could come on and it changes for just a little bit. And then it moves to say the next one, and then that manager gets moved out, new one comes in, they do a good job. And then it's like student body left, student body right. They're just moving to the next property. And it's somehow within that circle, the word gets out, like this is the property you can go to and you can do what you want to do.
It's super frustrating to feel like our hands are tied at the township level because we've 100% given the sheriff's department green light.
And
generous
actually,
money, like
what Scott just said,
Uh-huh.
actually, I heard verbatim from the sheriff's office.
100%,
Like
that's what
they
Omar-
say the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
it is so frustrating to them because as soon as they get a good manager in one location, they're gone.
Yep,
And then the bad ones don't ever really leave. They just.
And that's what, I mean, this isn't like pounding my fists and pointing fingers at people. It's just literally, the sheriff's department's working really, really hard.
Mhm.
The township has put a lot of effort, resources into this ordinance. And it's just again, I'm getting a broken record, but it's just like, is there something besides just patrols that we can do in that corridor that could make a material difference, even if it's just incremental? That either helps the sheriff's department police that much more effectively and at the same time helps deter proactively criminal activity.
It's interesting that it has to be one of the most valuable intersections in Grand Rapids. We've got a
for the
Meijer,
underbelly,
Costco,
yeah, for the dark.
Walmart,
dark
we've
web.
got Target, we've got all the biggest entities that you can, and
And you have to remind yourself you're in Cascade when you see a SWAT team move in. It's like one of the safest
But-
townships
And it's all the
in
downtown
the state.
people. It's
And
perfect.
It's this little island.
It's right by the highway.
And it's
I like
sleepy.
your idea of clearing out trees and, but can you do that if it's, I mean, it's not your property, right?
It's
Look,
not,
I
but we can,
talk to the landlord that we can do a lot if of course, the landlord may say, man, that's a great idea, but how are we gonna pay for it, right? I mean, that's.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
bottom line.
Money's,
Right.
money's in play, so everyone's motivated until they have to pay for it.
Mhm.
yeah, we can look into it and approach it and see. Yeah, I don't think we could pay for the taking of trees, but we could work with the owners on a revised site plan. There are things we could do to encourage them to up
We
their.
do have a chainsaw.
Yeah.
You need like,
There's worse things
you need a
happening.
German Shepherd or.
Thank you for entertaining the conversation, but if there is some things we can do, or at least to facilitate, it would be appreciated.
Okay,
I can't wait for that hotel ordinance, like literally every day, wake up and who are we gonna inspect today? Like, so looking forward to it.
I'll give everyone cake as they go in.
Oh my gosh. Reese is gonna follow-
I'm highly motivated.
their door with
I,
bun cake
Why
to
is this
go
one
along with.
inspected every day?
We haven't even opened yet.
I will buy Culvers and anything from the wine, from Rishi's stores to complement the bun cake.
Did
I'm
we-
highly motivated.
Did we put in anything like that we have to allow so much time in between inspections? I can't remember
No, but
the process.
the process, we did not put how many times. It's gonna depend on. Cause a lot of it then, the further we go into the process of the actual ordinance and enforcing it, then all of a sudden the courts get involved.
Mhm.
So the timeline's gonna get a little,
Yeah, and our attorney's expecting that.
oh yeah, 100%,
We welcome that, right, Jade?
yes.
And it's gotta be fair, right? These are, if someone's trying to do the right thing, you gotta give them the chance to do the right thing. This is an investment they've made in a business. I
Like
guess.
even just receiving a phone call for clarification from a corporate attorney to say, hey, we're working on this. At first, I'm like, oh, great, they're gonna sue us. So who is it? Let's, but no, they actually were like, okay, we're preparing the documents is what they said. So, and they're working on it. I think that's a move in the right direction. So
Yeah.
we're keeping a tally of who's communicating and who's not.
We did have some owners attend the board meeting where we finally, like, for final approval, but they didn't say anything. Weren't sure what to expect for feedback.
They were pretty
But these
quiet.
business owners will have to lawyer up and spend a lot of money to defend themselves, so it's. You may not get the lawsuits that you're thinking.
And it's so odd, like the amount of, what do you call it when you've done your homework, like dotted your i's and crossed your t's, the violations are so bad.
All right,
So it starts October 1st is when.
Well, it's already started, but in the ordinance, it said that October 1st was kind of the deadline, so.
okay.
So after that, you can start inspecting and
Mhm.
Finding.
And start really kind of
can I
hammering.
get a copy of that? Or- I looked for it. I wonder if it came before I came on.
It should be on the board, the last board meetings.
Yeah, it may not actually,
Oh, The
yeah,
DDA, but the board.
Yeah, the board of
I'll go look
trustees.
there.
yeah, and it may not be published yet because
think
it's so
we put it
recent,
on
but
the
I can
DDA's.
take, I can send you guys all a copy of that.
That'd be
Because
great.
not just the ordinance, but also the ordinance really is the teeth, but it refers to the policy that we put in place. And the policy, thanks to Andrea in our planning department, is so comprehensive. We
Okay,
actually
good.
backed off a little bit. She wanted names and make of locks and
I
windows,
like it.
security systems and cameras. And so we did back it up because we have to still manage other things
Yeah.
besides just the hotels.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and actually, that was a question I had when Scott sent the email out was, can there be ordinances that require those things to be put in?
yes, this
Yes.
ordinance, so the ordinance refers to this policy and says the policy is, it has to be complied with. And in that, it has what all of those things are. So, because one of the hotels says, well, I don't have cameras. We're like, well, you have so much time to put them in.
Mhm.
So in a way, yes, it can enforce it, but it's not in the ordinance, it's in the policy, which
Okay.
the ordinance supports.
I
Okay,
looked for it
follows.
maybe a month or two ago, like back in our, because I don't know. I was saying what a great job I thought.
It's what I'll do,
It's
because
the same
Andrea
part
put
of my
together,
issue.
yeah, Andrea put together a packet that isn't actually like on the, oh, actually might be on the website now. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'll put together a packet and send it to all you guys, and you guys can see the ordinance and what went to all of the owners.
Okay, anything else?
Any new businesses? Any other businesses go out of business?
There's a new Indian restaurant across the street from you. I saw that sign.
Oh, what was there before?
Did they transfer the liquor
Backyard.
license?
They did.
They did?
No, did you find out? You
Yeah,
found out?
We got a letter yesterday.
So we know, did it stay in so they didn't.
It's in
transfer-
escrow because it's being transferred to the new owners.
So that didn't come back to us.
No.
But
No.
it's in Cascade.
But it's in Cascade.
It is staying in Cascade.
It's good.
But
It's good that it's staying in Cascade. It's just funny when people like beg you for something and look in the eye and make promises in public that's recorded and then.
Yeah.
Less than a year later. It's hard to have a soft heart after a while. It's easier to have.
Missed this, but the resurfacing of the building over by Dollar Tree, is that gonna be this consistent with the other, or is it gonna be there?
Oh, you, the reciting?
Yeah,
They were the, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna choose a different, like slightly
because
different.
I'm waiting, because everything's ready to put up the siding, so I
Yeah.
don't know if it's gonna be consistent or.
Yeah, I don't know if
Their
it's
own thing.
So that one is a different, the same owner is the one who recited, not the Starbucks place.
But the one
Did you
next
see
to it,
too? Is
So-
following part of getting recited or is it not them yet?
that's owned by somebody different, I think.
Same.
Oh, it's
All
the
those
same all
buildings
the
are
way
owned by
down.
someone else.
No, it's not as complicated as we were led to believe before. It's really
Okay.
not that complicated at all.
Okay, so.
They
do
own
we-
like 3 or something, the whole big one in the back.
It'd be nice if it was all the same.
I think that was
did we
their
know
plan.
That that was happening? Did we know that that?
They've been
project-
on
That They were chomping at the bit.
I know, so we knew that they were going ahead.
When the siding started going up, I did not, I was like, oh crud,
But
I
we
had
didn't
hopes that
know.
we would, I
They
had,
pulled a permit. I mean, they've been waiting and waiting, so they made a
Right,
decision, yes.
Right, so we knew that they were doing something,
which is
so.
good, but we were also talking to them about the facade improvement program and the public benefit that comes from making over part of that overly large parking lot, which they own a chunk of the majority of it, but they also obviously would have. They were not opposed to us.
Yeah, I know that that was a discussion
Oh, wait,
months
were
and
you at
months
any
ago.
of those meetings?
No, I wasn't there, but I mean, I knew that.
So I didn't know the siding was going up, which I know they did, I know they were
So
ready to get going.
what I'm getting at here is how do we put some sort of mechanism in place? That, because
Cause it would have been,
did the architectural review board even look at this?
It was approved before that existed.
Okay.
That was approved before I got here. I don't know the process.
The
It was
reciting?
that long ago?
You know, that remodel, because they already started it. I mean, half of it was, whatever was done before I got here.
huh, I was just kind of hoping that it would be the facade improvement program match with maybe changing roofs.
So my asking all these questions is, how do we have a mechanism in place so that we know some, that triggers?
Mhm.
Somebody
So-
looks at it, somebody talks to them.
Well, moving forward, and this is all part of what the board just got done with the master plan. They approved the master plan. We have the village area defined. That village area is going through a zoning rewrite, which is gonna have specific zoning requirements in there. And it's gonna be called form-based code as opposed to, so we're gonna be able to say in that area, if you wanna redo your business, it has to have the look and feel of this.
Okay.
It's probably as,
Intrusive.
yeah, that we can get as a township, like, but we were able to use different types of building material. This
Yeah.
is the look and feel of it. A really good example is actually the attorney's office that's going on Old 28th Street.
Yeah,
They came to us, it looked like a funeral home. Some people said it looked like a school. We said, no. They went back to the drawing table. What they came up with looks exactly like the character we want and the
Okay.
village
So any
area.
new permit going forward?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
so-
what I have to, but that doesn't happen overnight. Zoning rewrites take months to do.
Yeah.
It has to go through planning commission and it has to go through the board of trustees.
Right.
So we're
Right.
working on it.
But the village is a huge part of it
I
and
know.
Danielle from McKenna is the one.
She's doing the rewrite.
I'm just hoping that there can be something. So like a project like this, that we can catch, that we can go to them and say,
In the,
before you do this, let it, we
Yeah.
got this, blah, 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 blah. like, to-
in the interim, what will happen is we will make sure that we let the businesses know when they come in to apply for a building permit, that this is coming. This is what we would wish. There is a facade grant program or a redevelopment site grant
Okay,
program you can go through and hopefully get them to have the conversation
Yeah.
before the zoning is actually
yeah,
approved.
okay.
Is there education we need to do in the building department side or not really?
It's not education, it's just this is what they have to do, but yes.
Like
mean-
our building department?
Yeah.
Just
So
internal.
why isn't the attorney's building started yet?
I don't know.
Because we went through that whole process and everything was thumbs up and
We've got the plans.
they get everything to go and they're just.
Maybe they can't get their contractor lined up.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's only so much
Maybe
we
they
can
ran out
control.
of money.
Yeah, it's annoying that there's this like,
Enough people in trouble or something? What?
No, what kind of law do they practice?
once you get into stuff, then you start forgetting that the people have private rights and there's like, you're like, start going like into it, right? And then you realize, whoa. Some of this, the arm of the government doesn't reach everywhere.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Don't wanna